Did you know that 1 in 3 men struggle with PE? If you're tired of feeling frustrated in the bedroom, you are not alone. The average man only lasts 5 to 6 minutes during intercourse. Imagine making love for hours, experiencing full body pleasure, and becoming multi-orgasmic, which is something that is possible for both males and females with Tantra. Today, I'm going to be breaking down the top causes of PE, including the ones that no one talks about, and how mastering Tantric practices can completely transform your life in the bedroom and beyond. If you don't know me, I'm Dominique D'Vita. I've been a nurse for over 3 decades, and I'm a certified Tantra educator, and I've been helping my clients overcome PE, ED, and so much more using natural techniques without any medications required. It's been a game changer in their lives. Now, exactly what defines PE? It's consistently finishing within 1 minute of penetration or lasting less time than you desire. And not just that you desire, but maybe that your partner desires as well. This can take a psychological toll on yourself and show up in a negative way in your relationships because your frustration can be felt. And it starts to be where you might not even want to have as much intimacy with a lover because there's embarrassment. And then it keeps you more isolated to yourself. Don't have any shame about this. It's more common than you realize, and there are solutions that can support you. Now I'm going to share the top causes of PE. Some of the common causes are anxiety and stress, poor pelvic floor control, and oversensitivity. Anxiety and stress will impact you because you're going to be holding a lot more tension and stress in your body. And also the performance pressure that you can be putting on yourself, even subconsciously, that you're not aware of, that can trigger a fight or flight response in your body and in your nervous system. And that is going to reduce your ability to control when you finish. The second thing is poor pelvic floor control. Your pelvic floor consists of a hammock of muscles that support your reproductive organs. Whenever those muscles start to weaken over time, whenever we're not doing exercises to strengthen them or with aging, they start to weaken, and it's harder to have that control within the pelvic floor and controlling the delay of ejaculating. So what you want to do is do certain practices so that you can strengthen those pelvic floor muscles. Again, the Taoist practices, they imagine it like a bowl. As we start to weaken the pelvic floor, then the energy, even with our arousal and our desire, the energy starts to leak out of us, and we're draining that energy from us, and it impacts our arousal, our turn on, and our ability to have stronger erections and last longer. Another thing is oversensitivity. Sometimes within your shaft, you're going to have heightened sensitivity. It's not as common though, because many men will use the massage techniques for self-pleasure. Sometimes they can be very aggressive and use a very hard grip. That can actually desensitize you, and then that can impact you with having ED and other challenges. But when you get to the extreme of oversensitivity, sometimes when we want to correct something, I want you to think we can swing that pendulum too far. So now we want to increase that sensitivity, and that is part of Tantra. But then when it gets to be overly sensitive, then any kind of stimulation is such a heightened experience that it can push you to that point of no return. Here's some of the lesser known causes of PE. First is having hormonal imbalances. Low testosterone levels or elevated prolactin levels can reduce ejaculatory control. There's also a connection to gut health. Studies suggest that poor gut health impacts your serotonin levels, which also impact your mood too, but that's a key player in the timing of ejaculation. Whenever you're watching adult videos with having desensitization, that can be an impact too. Frequent exposure to adult content rewires your brain with neuroplasticity and affects your arousal threshold and control. Whenever I work with my clients, what we do is create new pleasure pathways, longer pleasure pathways in the brain using neuroplasticity so that you're able to last longer. The fourth cause is lack of sexual energy awareness. When I talked about the bowl, the pelvic floor, and how we can be leaking that sexual energy, that happens with the weakened pelvic floor. But so often we're not taught to understand how we can build this energy within our bodies and how it can be leaking out and how that can impact us in our ability to be the most orgasmic or to last longer, how it shows up in the bedroom, and how it impacts our arousal levels. I'm going to share with you some tips to last longer. Here's some short-term solutions that can be helpful for you. One is using the pause and squeeze technique. So what you're going to want to do is right before you feel like you're going to be climaxing, you want to stop the stimulation and pause for a moment and apply just a little bit of gentle pressure to the base of your shaft. Another thing that you can do is use deep breathing, slow, deep belly breaths, because that's going to help slow down your nervous system. When I talked earlier about fight or flight, it will help you relax in your body. So doing deep belly breaths wherever you're stretching your diaphragm, right below your rib cage, so that you feel the belly stretching out with each breath, and taking long, slow, deep belly breaths is super supportive. These breathing techniques help to calm and slow down your nervous system too. Now, here are some long-term solutions that can be helpful. One is doing Kegel exercises. You may have heard women doing Kegel exercises and thinking, oh, that's just for women only, but men can benefit from this as well. You're going to identify where those muscles are by stopping the stream of your urine whenever you go to the bathroom. That way you can identify where they're located in your body and make that mind-body connection, and tensing those muscles to stop that flow. And whenever you do the exercises, you're not going to do it whenever you're urinating, because that can create some backflow in your urine and can put you at a risk for getting a urinary tract infection. You're only going to want to do this initially to make that connection. And then moving forward, you're just going to do it outside of the bathroom. So you're going to do these for 5 to 10 minutes at a time, slowly building up. This is something that I like to do when I go to the gym in between sets when I'm working out and I'm resting. I just do those Kegel exercises. It's so important. You're going to slowly contract those muscles and then also relax them. So just as important as the contraction is having the relaxation, because you don't want to have too much tension in those muscles, because when you're overly tense, it's going to cause you to finish faster as well. So there's a fine balance in this. It's just like when you go to the gym, you're going to flex and do workouts to strengthen your biceps, but you also want to counterbalance that by working on your triceps too. A white Tantra practice that's super helpful is meditation practices, because this is how you start to rewire your brain with your neuroplasticity to lasting longer. The longer a man can stay in a meditative state, the longer he can last in bed. The longer a woman can stay in a meditative state, the more orgasmic she is. Now, there are other tantric techniques for this control, and I teach my clients semen retention practices and how to circulate that energy of the orgasmicness and the pleasure up through the body so you can feel the pleasure and have full body blissful experiences. And you can also be multi-orgasmic too. It's truly incredible. One of my clients shared with me, and he was in his 50s. He's like, I didn't even know this was possible to experience in my body. And I can feel my pleasure from the top of my head down to my big toe. So this is possible for you. But in our modern world, we're so practiced in keeping the sensations of pleasure located to our pelvic floor region, and we don't know how to bring it all through our body. And whenever you can bring it up through your body too, you're not keeping it as concentrated or as intense in the pelvic floor. And I want you to think of like a dam trying to hold the water back. When there's a lot of pressure pushing against that, it's going to make you finish faster. But when you know how to get the energy and move it all through your body, one, you're going to feel better, but it's going to help you to last longer too. Another tip is making some changes in your diet. Reduce the amount of sugar and also avoid alcohol. Alcohol is loaded with sugar. And if you do choose to drink alcohol, avoid alcohol before intimacy. Also increase your zinc and your magnesium for testosterone support. You can go to a practitioner and get your testosterone levels checked and see where you are. And always check with your doctor before you make any changes. Now, there are advantages to mastering your sexual energy through tantric practices. Tantra helps you transform what your experience is in the bedroom. The retention, and whenever I teach my male clients how to have non-ejaculatory orgasms, aka semen retention, one, you're not leaking and shooting out your life force energy all of the time. You're bringing that energy back into your body so you can be charged up, charge up your cells, improve your vitality, increase your energy so you don't feel drained. When men don't know how to do this, that's when they fall asleep quickly after intimacy. They fall asleep fast because they've drained that life force energy. Their body needs to build that reserve back again, and you're lowering that energetic. So what you want to do is also learn how to move the energy through your body and the pleasure, and that's how you're going to be able to have those full body O's and just not only experiencing it down below the waist. It's full body bliss, and it's truly life-changing. It's an experience that will blow your mind. One thing that tantric men do that other men don't do, which is possible for anyone to experience, but their focus is more on connection with the partner and having deep intimacy. A lot of times in our modern world, men can have a challenge with having this deep intimacy and connection because, one, they may have fears about women. Maybe they had an unhealthy relationship with their mother or with a woman in the past, and there's not that trust, or they have a fear of fully being seen. All those things can come into play, make people feel uncomfortable with intimacy. But when you can feel comfortable having deep intimacy with your partner and a deeper connection, that is such a game changer. And it will change your relationships, your experiences, and it's something that women really crave and desire. And so your partner is going to crave and desire you more because these are the types of experiences that they want to have. So then you're able to co-create this amazing experience together. One of my clients was in his 60s, and Viagra was even failing him. He could not make love to his wife. They've been married for over 30 years. When I taught him these practices, he was able to have amazing experiences with his wife. And he shared, we are having better lovemaking in our 60s than when we are in our 30s. And he says, I feel so much power in his parts. I wish I had discovered this 15 years ago. Now he's not taking Viagra or anything like that. And he's able to last for over an hour at a time. And his wife is like, now I need to work with Dominique so I can keep up with you. It's been quite incredible. I want to share these tools with you. Here are some surprising statistics that I want to share with you. 1 in 3 men experience PE at some point in their lifetime. The source for this is International Society for Sexual Medicine. The average man lasts 5 to 6 minutes during intercourse, but men with PE often finish within 1 minute. That source is from the Journal of Sexual Medicine. And studies show that practicing mindfulness and breathing techniques can reduce PE symptoms by up to 50% over time. And that is from Harvard Health. Now I want to share how long men last versus how long it takes women to climax. This is what creates the O gap. So men's average time to climax is about 5 to 6 minutes on average with men that don't have PE. Now, women's average time to climax, in contrast, it takes 13 to 20 minutes to reach that through lovemaking. This discrepancy is what creates the orgasm gap because we're missing one another. Because before women even have enough time to get to climax, it's oftentimes like game over for the male. This can lead to dissatisfaction in the bedroom and also have the woman not desiring to make love as often because it's disappointing for her. And then it's embarrassing for the man. So it can create like a tension within that relationship. Now, research shows that only 65% of heterosexual women consistently reach an O during intercourse compared to 95% of men. That's a big difference. I found this stat in the archives of sexual behavior. This gap is not just about the physical difference. It's often due to a lack of focus on women's pleasure and a rush to finish the act. Not all men are rushing through, especially men that are tuned into this channel. A lot of men who are trying to figure this out, the reason that they want to overcome the PE is because they do desire to support their partner and having more pleasure too. Now, why this matters. Closing the O gap isn't just about better intimacy. It's about connection, mutual pleasure, and creating a more fulfilling experience for both partners. This is where Tantra can make a huge difference. This unlocks something in the relationship where the woman starts to desire intercourse, even a lot of times more than men. Wouldn't it be wild if all of a sudden you're the one that's like, okay, honey, not tonight. I have a headache. You can have a completely different experience in your relationship. And I know as a man, you want to be desired too. And when you master this, the woman that you're with is going to desire more of these intimate connections with you. If you're ready to transform your experience in the bedroom, try one of the techniques that I shared today. You can also download my free guide on lasting longer or even be more deeply supported and my male stamina masterclass replay on how to last longer and stronger in bed for men specifically. And this is deeply supportive. And the links to that are also going to be in the description below. To find out more about my Empowered Men's group. And if you are more shy to be in a group coaching or you desire to even go more deeply, you can also apply for a complimentary discovery call where we can explore working together and be in one of my private one-to-one programs. I coach all my clients globally via Zoom. Subscribe for more tips on men's health Tantra, and mastering your energy. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and share it with someone who might benefit. I want you to remember that you have the power to master your body and take control of your pleasure. Start today because your future self will thank you. Now, before I go, I want to remind you, I'm not a doctor. I am a nurse. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. This is not to substitute any professional advice by your physician. Blessings.